Gladstone Regional Council are committed to fostering a proud, involved and engaged community. The Gladstone Regional Council Community Investment Program provides financial support to local community initiatives, projects and events which promote community connections, regional enhancements, community celebrations and community education. For more information on the Community Investment Program, visit gladstone.qld.gov.au. Gladstone Regional Council. Connect, innovate, diversify.
Illegal dumping and littering is a concern across the Gladstone region, with over 134 offences in the last 18 months. Our region is beautiful, but there are a few bad apples that ruin it for the rest of us, and they need to clean up their act.
Commonly found items at illegal dumping sites across the region include car bodies and batteries, mattresses, tyres, white goods and furniture, and green waste. These items can be disposed of at any of the region's waste transfer stations, some of them even for free.
Illegal dumping and littering pollutes our environment, harms plants and animals, and detracts from the enjoyment of our public spaces. It can lead to stormwater and ocean pollution, with large amounts of plastic, sugar sachets, and cigarette butts caught in stormwater traps and grates.
It's cheaper for everyone to dispose of waste correctly. Illegal dumping and littering cost our ratepayers thousands of dollars each year in waste management and clean-up. It's also costly for our dumper, with penalties of up to $10,000.
We can all work together to keep our region beautiful and dispose of waste responsibly by placing rubbish in the bins, or even holding onto the rubbish until you're near a suitable bin, and using our local waste facilities. Don't be part of the problem of pollution. We want you to be a part of the solution.
From towns to the bush, illegal dumping and littering is everybody's responsibility. Protect our public spaces and natural environment by doing the right thing for today and tomorrow.
If you see illegal dumping,
dive in a dumper.
See it,
report it,
stop it.
You don't need a resolution, Mayor.
Don't need a resolution. We do have for those listening online, we do have an apology from Councillor Moscato, who's unable to attend this morning. Councillors, the next item on the agenda is the messages of condolence. Can I see if any councillors have messages of condolence, please?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Matt. I do have one, if you could bear with me, please. It is with deep sadness I inform of the passing of one of our beloved Gladstone Region community members, Mrs. Carmel Stanley. Carmel, in her capacity, contributed so much to Gladstone and the Gladstone region for her whole life. Carmel being a piano teacher, a member of the Music Teachers Association, a founding member and past president of the Gladstone Stedford Association for many years. Over 45 years of love and passion for music, and as a renowned music teacher, Carmel Stanley has been striking the right chord with many children in the Gladstone performing arts community. And through that, I suppose, through the years, Carmel has shared the gift of music and leaving lifelong legacies with hundreds and hundreds of students. So also information from Colleen McRae from Gecko Valley Winery that Carmel was also a wonderful florist, making all the flowers for their wedding well over 40 years ago. Such a beautiful person. So finally, I'm sure that we all around this table in the Gladstone Regional Council express our prayers and sincere sympathies. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Churchill. Is there any further messages of condolence? No further messages of condolence. The next item on the agenda is the prior notifications of conflicts of interest, and Councillor Hanson has one to raise. Over to you, Councillor Hanson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I, Councillor Rick Hanson, advise that in agenda item G 3.2, Community Investment Program, Community Celebration Fund, Destination Event, I have a declarable conflict of interest as my wife Lyndall is the CEO of Not-for-Profit House, which is engaged in the Boyne Tenham hookup. That is actually one of the applicants in the destination event funding. As a result of my conflict of interest, I will leave the meeting room for this item.
Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Any further conflicts of interest? No further conflicts of interest. The next item on the agenda is the Mayor's statement on current issues. I'd first like to start by talking about our school holiday program, which is currently underway with activities right across our council facilities. That's at our art gallery, our GECC, our Gladstone Regional Libraries and our Tondoon Botanic Gardens. So those activities are available now for the young ones in our community that might be getting bored already. So parents are encouraged to check out the school holiday program on Council's website. But as the new year approaches, we also have the Festival of Summer, which is for 11 to 17-year-olds, and that goes from the 10th to the 14th of January. It's an action-packed program. Although some activities are sold out, there are still plenty of activities available. I know that there's laser skirmish, there's watercolour painting, there's photography workshops, there's Agnes Water 1770 Beach Day, and there's so much more. So certainly check out our Festival of Summer information on Council's website or via the GECC website, and check out all those programs. Everything is subsidised, so it's not expensive. Some activities are free, but certainly worth getting your children involved in that. That's the 11 to 17-year-olds from the 10th to the 14th of January, and it's specifically put in place about that time when the kids are getting a little bit more bored. So certainly want to make sure that they're entertained throughout the Christmas holiday period. Also, as part of the Festival of Summer, we have two Festival of Summer Sounds, which is an indoor festival. So the first one is on the 14th, which is the day the Festival of Summer wraps up. The 14th of January, it's from 5 to 10 p.m. That's for the 13 to 17-year-olds, and there's obviously entertainment and music and lots of fun for the young ones there at the GECC. And then we do have an 18-plus event on the 15th of January, also at the GECC. That's from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. or midnight, and there's a great lineup of music and entertainment, including the popular Thandy Phoenix, I'm told is very popular, and a bunch of others as well, which I didn't recognise, but I'm sure the young ones will. Also, of course, coming up is our New Year's Eve event. This year will be held at the GPC Marina Parklands. and that goes from 5 p.m. to midnight, and there'll be fireworks, 2 lots of fireworks, 8 p.m. so the young ones can get home to bed, and then again at midnight for those who want to party on, and Funk and Stuff will be entertaining the crowds along with a bunch of local artists as well. So that event is open to the entire community, so I encourage everyone to go and enjoy New Year's Eve at the GPC Marina Parklands. For our young future young ones in the Gladstone region that may want to be involved in politics in future life, we're encouraging them to nominate for our 2022 Gladstone Region Youth Council. Nominations close on the 31st of December. We have a few nominations already, but we're certainly encouraging more people to consider putting their hand up to be on our Gladstone Region Youth Council. So contact Council's engagement and partnership team, 49700 700, and speak to the team there. And of course, on Monday, the 13th of December, very significant day in the Gladstone region, where we signed an MOU with the Gladstone Central Committee on the Ageing to investigate retirement village options and aged care facilities on the Phillip Street Communities Precinct at Dave Burns Drive. Now, everyone knows the good work that the Gladstone Central Committee on the Ageing have done at the Heritage Village, and we would love to see that replicated on the Phillip Street site. So that MOU is signed. Council's invested $50,000 for the Gladstone Central Committee to do that investigation, that initial feasibility study and business case, and I'm sure it'll prove that that is the perfect site for that facility, and I look forward to seeing that report in the new year. And before we move on to the next item on the agenda, I'd like to wish Councillor Darryl Branthwaite a happy birthday. Thank you, Darryl. Thank you, councillors. The next item on the agenda is the is the confirmation of the minutes, and we're G2.1, the confirmation of the general meeting minutes for the 7th of December. Move Councillor Goodluck, seconded Councillor Cameron. Any business arising? No business arising. I put the motion. All in favour? That's carried. The next item on the agenda is the officers' reports, and the first officers' report is G3.1, council appointment to the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, and I'll hand over to the General Manager of Finance, Governance and Risk, Mark Holmes. Thank you, Mark.
Morning, Mayor. Morning, councillors. This item is with respect to your membership of your Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, which is one of the legislative committees that council is required to have under the Local Government Act. Your current policy with respect to that sees a voluntary rotation of those positions every 18 months. So this really is around looking at replacing those current members and seeing whether there's any interest in that, and certainly with a view to try and look at making sure we've got our membership locked down with respect to our upcoming audit planning day that we're aiming to have with our external members on the 9th of February. But open for questions and discussion.
Thank you. Questions to the General Manager, please. Councillor Goodluck.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time on the ARIC committee since 2018, but I understand, I know I've spoken to Councillor Muscat, and she's advised me that she's interested in being appointed to the committee, and there may be other councillors as well. So I'm happy to stand aside, so to speak. I know I've been on the committee longer than Councillor O'Grady has, so I think it's important from my perspective that Councillor O'Grady remains on the committee. If you're happy with that, Councillor O'Grady, just so we have that continuity. But I'm happy to stand aside and put Councillor Muscat's interests forward in her absence, and I'll still attend ARIC from time to time, as I used to before I was on the committee as well, and as many other councillors do. So, yeah, I'll just put that out there for consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Goodluck. Other comments, councillors?
No, I'd be happy to move that way, Mr Mayor, that
Okay.
those two members, Councillor O'Grady stays on the committee, and with the introduction of Councillor Muscat.
Okay. Move Councillor Hanson that Councillor Goodluck remain on the committee as well.
We're seeking essentially 2 members and 2 proxy members.
Yeah. Can we hold that thought for a second, Councillor Hanson? I'll come back to you. I'll just see what Councillor Churchill and firstly Councillor Branthwaite would like to say.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm quite happy to be the proxy member for that. Sorry. Yeah, I am already currently proxy, yeah.
Councillor Churchill.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Matt. I would be keen to express interest in going onto the committee. However, I believe that it's also a bit of a journey as well. So if Councillor, subject to the motion being successful, if Councillor Muscat was to actually be appointed and go up to be a member, is the opportunity arise for Councillor Cameron perhaps to become the proxy member because that would create the vacancy as a proxy member immediately, which allows Councillor Cameron to be involved in the audit, risk and compliance process. That's just my thoughts. So whether that's an amendment to the resolution.
I'm happy to do that motion, Mr Mayor, if you want.
And that's fine, because we've got to get the wording correctly right. So, Councillor Churchill, you're not wanting to be on it, you're wanting Councillor
Well, I flagged my level of interest, but I think also having been involved in audit, risk and compliance for many years in the past, that it's a good a learning journey, and I think Councillor Cameron, in his capacity, hasn't been on the committee at any time at this stage, and now's an opportunity for Councillor Cameron, subject to the original resolution.
I'd be happy to move in at the position, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. All right, so at this point it would be Councillor O'Grady and Councillor Muscat be members, and Councillor... Oh, I do have the mic on.
Sorry, I have it on my screen if you want to bring it up at all.
Yeah. Sorry, so if we want to type it in, Councillor O'Grady and Councillor Muscat as members, and Councillor Branthwaite and Councillor Canberra as alternate members.
I'm still moving that motion, and it's good to see so much interest in this position, because there was a time when it was difficult to get a member, and it's great to see everybody's interest in this very, very important committee.
Yeah,
So,
there was a time when
well
we was advised that it was probably best that councillors weren't on it, when in fact that's quite the contrary.
So it's very good to see.
Councillor Churchill, and then I'll go back to Councillor O'Grady.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mayor Matt. Just to make a point, though, also in amongst the agenda item is that are you in your capacity ex officio to this committee as well?
Yeah, I am, and I attend as often as I can.
And I think that's an important note. Not that it needs to be part of the resolution, and I believe, you know, further to what Councillor Hansen's just indicated, is that each and every one of us are quite welcomed and made feel welcome to come and sit in on those committee meetings when and where appropriate.
Councillor O'Grady.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, I have enjoyed, I have enjoyed being on the ARIC committee, and thank Councillor Goodluck for his guidance, I suppose, because I sort of joined after him. But I think the policy does say it is a 18-month turnaround, so, you know, I just want to make sure that, you know, everybody else would like me to stay on it. I'm happy to stay on the ARIC committee, but I was just making sure everybody else was happy for me to stay there.
Yep, I think the resolution is Councillor O'Grady and Councillor Muscat as on the screen there, and then Councillor Branthwaite and Councillor Cameron as alternatives. If everyone who's been nominated is happy with that.
So moved, Mr Mayor.
Move Councillor Hansen, second Councillor Goodluck. I'll put the motion. All in favour. It's carried. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is G3.2, Community Investment Program and Community Celebration and Destination Event. Councillor Hansen has a conflict in this. Thank you, Councillor Hansen.
Can we break the item down, Mr Mayor?
Councillor Hansen, would you like me to break the item? Councillor Hansen? Councillor Hansen, would you like me to break the item so you can stay for the others, or are you happy to leave for the whole item? Thank you, Councillor Hansen. Next. He is, but... Anyway, thank you, and I'll hand over, to the General Manager of Community Development and Events, Kylie Lee. Thank you, Kylie.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Thank you, councillors and CEO and those watching at home. This morning we are assessing our Community Celebration Fund for our destination events, of which we've received 3 applications within this round. Just for clarity, our destination events are those events that attract around 5,000 people with a percentage of around 15% of out of region. So that's where we prefer. These applications are assessed against 6 performance criteria, including social and community, destinational profile, economic impact, financial sustainability, environmental sustainability and overnight visitation. The 3 applications that we have received for this particular round are from the Boyne-Tanham Hookup, the Agnes Blues Roots and Rock Festival and the 1770 Festival. Taking you through one at a time, just for highlights. The Boyne-Tanham Hookup, very successful event across our region and very sustainable in terms of its financial position. Council entered into a 3-year sponsorship agreement with the Hookup, which ended this year, hence the request for a further year of investment at $50,000. Last year, council funded at $33,000. The panel agreed that whilst this event aligns with all the objectives due to its position financially, we could invest at around $25,000, considering our total pool of investment is around $75,000 for our destinational profile. The total request is about 8% of their total project fund, which is around $634,000. And the panel, again, as I said earlier, agreed that a similar investment of $25,000 would be appropriate for that particular event. The second event is the Agnes Blues Roots and Rock Festival. Again, another great event for the region, and it's really going from strength to strength. Their lineup this year is looking amazing already, and their ticket sales are barrelling out the door, which is really great to see. The investment request from Discovery Coast Tourism and Commerce was for $17,250, of which the panel endorsed, as the event does continue to contribute to all 6 of those key selection criteria. The last destination event that we looked at was the 1770 Festival, which is in May, attracting around 4,500 people, so almost at that destinational level and still attracting out-of-town region, which is really great. The panel noted that this event continues to have such a lot of potential to tell the shared history story of our First Nations and our Australian people and the colonisation. So the score was around 59%, which was a reflection of the content in the application. However, we do still believe that that's a really important event within our community and within our nation. The panel recommended $35,000 for that event. The original request was $40,000. There are a lot of partnerships, a lot of key partnerships within the 1770 Festival that are quite new, which continue to see that regional approach, which is really the DCTC should be congratulated on their proposal for this particular event. If council does agree with the recommendations of the panel, we would be committing over and above our $75,000 funding limit. However, there are other funds that are available within the other funding streams, which can be channeled to cover the request. If we do approve all 3 at the recommended funding, we would need to journal around $7,083 from another line in the Community Investment Fund, of which there are funds available specifically for community investment. I invite any questions on those 3 events.
I have a question, and I think Councillor Goodluck and Churchill do too. Firstly, with the 1770 Festival, is it just for the report it was referred to as the 1770 Festival? Last year it was called Gladstone Region 1770 Festival, is that?
Just for the report,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Mayor.
all right.
Yeah.
Councillor Goodluck, then Councillor Churchill.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Kylie. I just wanted to query I support the report. It's a good report, thank you. But just with the Boyne-Tanham hookup, and love the hookup, fantastic event, but it does state that there's, I think it was 30,000 visitors, and compared that with, much more modest numbers. I think there's 2,500 for Discovery Coast Tourism and Commerce and the 1770 Festival, sorry. I know the hookup's over a 3-day period, or predominantly 2 days. Are they counting attendees that come through each day to get that 33,000? So can we, just for someone that might read this report from the general public, if we maybe can just articulate that. I'm not sure if it was in there somewhere, and I know I missed it, but I sort of gathered that, because it says there that there's 27,000 Gladstone region residents that participate in the event. What's got there on participation in the project, 27,000 Gladstone region residents. So maybe if we just articulate that a little bit better, because I think that probably, not everyone would expect that there's over 30,000 participants in the hookup. Absolutely, I know, having been down there many times, as we all have, there'd probably be 6,000 or 8,000 people in the park each day, but many of those would be the same people. So, because I have had that mentioned to me that, that sort of doesn't give an accurate description of the attendees at the event. But absolutely love the event, support it, and support the report. If we can just articulate that better through the reporting, so it gives the more clear picture to people that might be reading it.
It's a really good point, Councillor Goodluck. We can ask for perhaps entrance into the event and pull that out separately as far as entrance and then visitors to the event.
Yeah.
Could be
or even if you've took, for example, the participation projection, the 27,000 Gladstone region residents, maybe just split that up into, we've got 8,000 per day, and I'm sure there's a crossover of different people each day perhaps, but it's probably not 27,000 individuals that walk through the gates. Sorry, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Churchill.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Matt. My question was pertinent to what you asked there earlier, was just making sure that Gladstone region was recognised in relation to the major events. I suppose from our perspective, making sure there's no confusion that it's within the Bundaberg region, no disrespect to our neighbours, but making sure that it highlights it is the Gladstone region when we talk about the Blues Roots Rock Festival and the 1770 Festival, as we did last year, so that you confirmed that with the Mayor before that that's the case.
So we would enter into those agreements when we start the negotiations with DCTC, and part of that leveraging is to add that name to the 1770 Festival, as we did last year.
Yeah, great. And I just, I suppose, reiterate, we welcome anybody from Bundaberg region to come up for it. Happy to move the officer's recommendation unless there's other questions.
No, I'll take that mover. Seconder, please. Councillor O'Grady. Is there any further questions or comments? Put the motion. All in favour? That's carried. Can we have Councillor Hanson back in the room, please? Thank you, councillors. The next item on the agenda is G3.3, which is our Community Investment Program Community Celebration Fund Impact Event. And I'll hand back to Kylie.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We've received 2 applications to this round of our community impact events. One is the Mount Larcombe Show and the other is the 2022 Port to Park Fund Run from the Gladstone Ports Corporation. The panel wanted to acknowledge the amount of work that the Mount Larcombe Show Society had invested into the preparation of their application for this year, and we're really proud to recommend the investment of the $25,000 as requested. That investment will be funded in 2 parts. The first will be $15,000, and then on receipt of the actual annual program, the remaining $10,000 will be invested. So the total amount was recommended for that particular event, acknowledging that the committee have worked really, really hard in making that the region's premier agricultural show. So they've done a great job. The second application was our Port to Park Fund Run, and Gladstone Regional Council has been a really solid supporter of this event since its inception. Our investment in the past few years has really been around our GCC team providing technical support. And last year we introduced live streaming into that event, which was a service that our team does really brilliantly. Thank you, Josh and GCC, shameless plug. We did recommend a $10,000 in-kind investment and a $5,000 cash investment for that particular event. The panel noted that, again, a great event for health and lifestyle in the Gladstone region. So I invite council's questions.
Questions, councillors? No? Can I have a mover then? Oh, sorry, Councillor Branthwaite.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just in relation to the Ports Corporation, is that what they were asking for, was $15,000? Or?
The original request was 20. Last year we found ourselves working together to find different items to fund within that in-kind amount, and really hiring things on behalf of the port. So variable message boards, for example, we wouldn't have them in-house to hire or use the in-kind, so we would be purchasing them on behalf of the port. So it's really just being able to acknowledge the value of what we can provide for the things that they need, and then providing the cash to the port so that they can purchase the things that we would have to hire on their behalf.
It's a very, very good event.
It's brilliant. Yep.
You know, the community wellbeing that's transpired from it is just, it's immense, you know. There's a lot of people that just live for that particular fun run. Well, now it's obviously a little bit different now, but because it used to be the Botanic to Bridge, now it's the Port Fun Run. But from a person that was actually doing the yelling and screaming at the start of the race and the end of the race, there was a lot of people that thoroughly enjoyed it and they recognise the involvement that the council has as well. And I was just interested to know how much the actual port were actually asking for.
It was 20, Councillor Branthwaite. And I'm happy to take feedback from the group if we wish to increase it. The panel just wanted to recognise what we were investing.
I was quite happy with the motion. Yeah.
Are you happy to move that motion? Thank you. Move Councillor Branthwaite, second Councillor Cameron. Any further questions? Put the motion. All in favour, and it's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors.
Thank you, Kylie. The next item on the agenda is G3.4, which is our monthly financial report for the period ending the 30th of November 2021, and I'll hand back to the General Manager of Finance, Governance and Risk, Mark Holmes.
Morning again, councillors. Attached is the monthly financial reports through to essentially the end of November, which takes us approximately about 42% of the way through the year. Key items that I just want to call out just as part of the report. Certainly revenue remains higher but in line with where we would be expecting. Our rates revenue will have 2 additional chunks that will come in through the year. The first part of that will be your water meter consumption that will come in February, and you would have residents and yourselves would have seen water meter readers out and about in the region over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and then that process is essentially completed now. One of the items there that is tracking below is our sales revenue, so that's our contract work. So our level of contract works for main roads and others hasn't been to the level that we had expected, but that's manifested in lower revenue in that space, but also on lower expenses on our materials and services line item. So that's why that's tracking well below as well. With respect to our capital, certainly probably not on a pro rata basis, looks like it's sitting behind schedule, and the team is, I think, it'd be optimistic if they hit that the $68 million capital mark, excluding the emergent allowance there of $5 million. But certainly just over 20 million there for the first 5 months of the year. There's a little work to be done. Pleasingly, with respect to our outstanding rates, just 9.37% at the end of November. So if we were to compare that to the same time last year, that's 2.6% ahead of where we were at. So that's a significant and substantial improvement in that result. So essentially, we've got the lowest outstanding rates comparatively since 2014. When we've gone back and compared. So at the moment, so certainly trending positively in that direction. But happy to take questions with respect to the report.
Thank you, Mark. A question, Councillor O'Grady.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mark, I just have a question on page. Sorry, I'll just find that. The outstanding rates. So page 27. It just says about commercial and industrial assessments, and then when you go down to page 28, it's got residential rates. Should the Agnes Water rate bar there, should that be in commercial rates or in residential rates?
No, that's in resident. Yeah. So the first lot is just breaking up by sector. Essentially, what is the percentage of outstanding rates attributable to each of those sectors. The second of those graphs is just depicting the total value of our outstanding residential rates by suburbs.
Right, so that's not a commercial rate, the Agnes Water one?
That's the total.
Okay, right, okay, thank you.
Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Churchill?
Yeah, through you, Matt. Surprisingly, I don't have any questions. But
so you're happy to move the motion then?
Well, no, I want to make a comment. No, I want to make a comment. The financial report is exceptional, and to you, I suppose, through you, Madam CEO, I know it's still at the higher level, but it's so transparent with the information that's coming through. I know it's still work in progress, but, you know, exceptional for all to see. Not just around the board here, but for all to see. So, through you, Madam CEO, I said that to you earlier. Congratulations to both of you and all involved.
Can I have a mover then? Councillor, hang on, Councillor Trevor has a question.
Mark, the movement in the decrease in rates in the residential sector no doubt would be significant related to the enormous amount of sale and purchases that are going on currently in the Gladstone region, including Agnes Water, Boyne-Tanham and Gladstone in particular. So we should be mindful that this may be a short-term anomaly in the sense that the market may slow depending on what the new year is going to bring to this community and communities throughout the whole of Australia. So I commend you on some excellent work there, Mark, and your team. But I do view it through the prism of the market being extremely active, and no doubt it's most active since 2014, when we saw a similar situation in relation to rates being, or the outstanding rates being so low.
It's a good point. There's two factors. That certainly is the primary. The other factor is essentially we have had almost a full financial year of completing our debt recovery process, which put us in a good place to start the year. So essentially those two factors combined have led to that result.
Mm-hmm. And the uptake of by increasing the 10% discount as well to for 60 days rather than 30 days has certainly helped as well. Yep. Gives a lot more people a lot more opportunity to take advantage of that discount. Yes. Okay, do I have a mover for the report, please? Thank you, Councillor Goodluck. Second, Councillor Hanson. All in favour? It's carried. The next item is G3.5, which is 68 to 22 sewer and stormwater realignment rehabilitation. And I hand over to the General Manager Operations, John Tumbers. Thank you, John. I have to do this every time.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and Merry Christmas and good morning, councillors. Ho, ho. This report seeks resolution from Council to enter into contract with Interflow Proprietary Limited for the provision of sewer and stormwater pipe rehabilitation works. The contract is for a service to rehabilitate sewer and stormwater pipes through the use of in-situ structural lining, patch or civil works as required. The contract is also to provide advice as to what the best rehabilitation methodologies are for specific circumstances. Council went to tender and received 2 conforming submissions. The submission from Interflow scored highest overall in the evaluation process and is considered by the tender panel to present best overall value to Council. The offer made by Interflow is within existing funds for the project. So with that, I'm open for questions.
Mic's not working now. Oh, there it is. Questions, councillors? Oh, very easy. Move Councillor Churchill, second, and Councillor O'Grady. All in favour? It's carried.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks, John. Thanks, Christy. That was very easy. Excellent. Our next item on the agenda is G3.6. It's our animal inspection program for 2022. And I'll hand over to the Acting General Manager of Customer Experience, Mark Bailey. Welcome, Mark. Welcome to the table, Mr. Bailey.
I gather I'm going to push that.
Yes, that's on. That's on. That's it.
Normally we would pass this very quickly, but I want you to go through the report.
As we can appreciate this time of year, every year that we have to come before Council due to a state-mandated legislation that we're required to conduct an animal inspection program in 2022. So I'll take the report as being read and hold open for any questions in relation to it.
No way does he get out of that easy. Councillors, questions, please? Mark, maybe you'll have to explain in a bit more detail. No, look, okay, councillors, can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Second, Councillor Branthwaite. Put the motion. All in favour? Thank you. It's carried,
Merry
Mark.
Christmas.
Well done. Thank you, mate. Very easy. Okay, councillors, we have no deputations this morning. We do have councillor reports, and our first councillor report is from Councillor O'Grady, 5.1, on the Destination Q conference. Over to you, Councillor O'Grady.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. This was a fantastic conference to attend. And the first day was the Indigenous Tourism Conference, and it was really interesting to hear about what's happening in the future for Indigenous tourism. Now, both conferences, it was like two conferences, so both conferences covered off mainly, it was about looking forward to the future of tourism, so looking at the Olympics, which is in 10 years' time. So, you know, a 7-year-old at the moment is going to be 17, so, and this is going to be the problem, trying to train people up in you know, there's going to be, you know, we'll need people doing stuff at the Olympics, we'll need, you know, motels and beds and maid and all that sort of stuff. So, so that was sort of what it was looking about, how to train people up in the future and, you know, start the children at a young age about, you know, the Olympics are coming up and whatever else. So, which was a great thing. The other thing too, which is really sad at the moment, and I suppose in the last week, with tourism houses such as in caravan parks, motels and whatever, they're running only about 65 to 70% capacity as a full house, for the reason being they can't get any employees to do, you know, the housekeeping and stuff like that. So, which is, and it's probably got harder for them in the last week with the mandates. So, you know, we just have to look forward to sort of what's in the future and start training our people up so we can do so. But yeah, there's some links there on the report and whatever else, and otherwise I'll take it as read. And I'd like to congratulate Peter from Lady Elliot Island and his team, and Neil from 1770 Lark Tours and his team for getting awards at the Tourism Awards. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Grady. We have a second councillor report, G5.2, from Councillor Churchill, Gladstone Engineering Alliance Major Industry. Oh, I was going to move them in collectively, but okay, we'll move that one first. Mover for that report, please, Councillor Trevor, second and Councillor Branthwaite. All in favour that the report be received. Thank you. And now we'll move to Councillor Churchill, GEA Major Industry Conference and CQH2 Hydrogen Forum.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Mayor Matt, and to fellow councillors. I'll take it as the report being read. However, I would like to, at this stage, just acknowledge, you know, Chantal Lane and Pauline Kelly. Chantal Lane, the CEO, General Manager, and Pauline Kelly, Chair of GEA Board, and GEA collectively and all their members for bringing this conference annually. And I know, from my perspective, it was a pleasure to be able to attend, and I think, Councillor Khan, I attended one of the days in your absence because you had another high priority to get to, but thank you for the opportunity. There is a couple of points within the report, and before I do that, I would also like to acknowledge the significant contribution from Carly Quinn and also Gary Scanlon, Carly Quinn, General Manager, and Gary Scanlon, the Economic Development Specialist, for their significant contribution to this report. My other final point is that before we go into the, I suppose, question or discussion points, if there is any other questions forthcoming, was that it was pleasing that the Gladstone Regional Council showed its solid support to this industry conference, because I have no doubt that it'll continue to grow stronger every year, as it has been for many years. On the first page in there, and perhaps an opportunity, we talk about the Inland Rail project, and we stated in there that subsequent to this industry conference, the Deputy Prime Minister on the 3rd of September 2021 subsequently announced $10 million funding commitment for the business plan to continue the Inland Rail a further 646 kilometres from Toowoomba to the city of Gladstone. And subsequent to this conference and subsequent to that notation going in here, it's pleasing to note that there is bipartisan support leading into what will be the federal election in 2022. My research was trying to endeavour to find out if the $10 million that was announced, whether it was actually in the current budget, or appropriately whether it was in the forward estimates, to ensure that $10 million is enshrined. I'm not sure whether that's a question that I could ask perhaps our economic development specialist, whether he's aware that it's enshrined in the budget or in the forward estimates. And my other point that I wanted to make is that our previous motion to this council in relation to the Inland Rail project is that we have agreed that the Inland Rail Toowoomba to Gladstone conference, which was our previous motion that went to CQ Rock, is now gaining momentum in relation to what will be known as the Inland Rail Rolling Conference. Would that be the case? Perhaps through you, Madam CEO, would it be possible to get an answer from our economic development specialist in brief, or our general manager? Would that be possible?
Yeah, if Carly and Gary could come to the table, it'd be great. I have written as this, to every mayor on the proposed corridor, and Gary can update more, inviting them to be part of a rolling forum. So we've written to the Mayor of Banana Shire, the Mayor of Toowoomba, and the Mayor of Western Downs, and the Mayor of Goondiwindi. So those councils are the councils that the proposed railway line will take effect, but might hand over to Gary or to Carly.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have written, as the Mayor said, to the councils proposing that we hold the rolling forum through those areas and hold a regional showcase in each of the areas. So we'll bring the delegates to the region and show them, highlight the region along the way, and then the delegates will have an opportunity to understand what the opportunities are in the regions. Western Downs have responded to us, and the other councils have some issues that they're dealing with at the moment with flooding and drought and other things. So we'll follow them up in the new year. But yeah, it's gaining momentum, and we'll call it the Inland Rail Rolling Forum. It's a working name at the moment, so I'm up for any other creative names.
Good. It sounds good, the Inland Rail Rolling Forum. So we're obviously going to hear a lot about that in 2022.
Timing, given the uncertainty around the federal election, it'd be nice to get that out of the road before we went with a rolling forum. So we're thinking post-May for the actual forum, when we understand what the new federal government may look like. And also there's a bit of uncertainty around COVID and COVID restrictions for how we might deal with that at the moment. So we'll see how we go early in the new year.
So given the point Melbourne to Toowoomba now, the advocacy has been continually the voice of local government along that corridor. The power of this will be the voice of the local government along this corridor, Toowoomba to Gladstone.
Yeah, most certainly. All the mayors have indicated along the corridor that they're supportive of the extension. So, and it'll be the opportunity to showcase those regions, what the economic benefit is for that project coming through the region, and the economic benefit for the region as well.
And my only other point was your comment as a segue now for ensuring, and we know publicly that there is bipartisan support for the business case, is making sure, and no one can predict what the outcome's going to be from the upcoming federal election, but hopefully it'll get announced and re-announced leading up to that federal election, if it's not in the budget.
Yes, it's an opportunity for the CQ Regional Council of Mayors to hold the Deputy Prime Minister to his commitment in the new year and follow through with that funding promise.
And the opposition as well. Thank you for that. Is there any questions on the report at all?
No, I thought you might read through it for us.
Oh. No.
Happy for me to find a mover for that now?
Absolutely.
Mover that the report be received. Thank you, Councillor Cameron and Councillor Trevor. Put the motion all in favour. It's carried. Thank you, Harley. Thank you, Gary. Okay, there's Garly. Yep, there's no urgent business, there's no notices of motion, and there's no confidential items.
Mr Mayor, if I may, just
yes.
Reiterating last meeting, I said that LawMac presentations will be sent to councillors and the draft meeting minutes as well. I hope you've all got them.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. That's good.
We do. Actually, before I do close, does any councillors have any other councillor reports?
I I'd just like to wish everybody in our region a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Councillor Grady. And happy birthday, Daryl. Stupid Daryl. Actually, well, councillors, before I wrap up, I'd just like to mention one more event, which is probably the greatest day of the year. I know people get excited about Christmas Day and birthdays and stuff, but it really is Boxing Day. Boxing Day in the Gladstone region means the Calliope Gold Cup and the races. It also means around the country that we have the Boxing Day test and, of course, the Rolex Sydney to Hobart yacht race. And the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, Councillor Hanson, is very important because it's the first leg of the Four Cities Cup, which will be given out this year, next year, for the overall winner of the Sydney to Hobart, Brisbane to Gladstone yacht race.
Mr Mayor, Councillor O'Grady's got some information that you might
so
know.
I'd just like to advise you that the Boxing Day races at Calliope are actually postponed.
Oh, not again.
Yes, because they couldn't get enough helpers, volunteers, and there's a few issues with the track. So they're hoping sometime in January they'll be able to...
A couple of days ago it was still going on.
Yeah, that's only happened yesterday afternoon.
Thank you for that. Well, you can still watch the Boxing Day test and the yacht race on the telly. So unfortunately, you won't be able to go to the races. But thank you for that, Councillor O'Grady. And look, as I said, it's the first leg of the Four Cities Cup, and we haven't been able to give that trophy out for a couple of years because one year the Rolex Sydney to Hobart was cancelled, and the next year the Brisbane to Gladstone was cancelled. So this year we have the Sydney to Hobart, and next year the Brisbane to Gladstone is going ahead on the 15th of April, as always, on Good Friday. So it's 5 days to the Sydney to Hobart and 115 days to the Brisbane to Gladstone, and we'll be able to give that trophy out to the overall winner of those events. And of course, our Brisbane to Gladstone yacht race is live streamed. And Councillor Hanson would like to.
And Mr Mayor, Boxing Day, hot cross buns will be available in the stores.
Absolutely. I'm not done. We're getting lots of help from councillors this morning. It's very early. Anyway, sorry, councillors, that's all I want to talk about was Boxing Day. Before I say Merry Christmas to everyone as well, I just want to thank Lisa and our management team and our entire Gladstone Regional Council workforce for what they've done over what has been a very challenging couple of years. Lisa, you've led the team very well, and thank you for that. But to everyone who works for Gladstone Regional Council, thank you for the good work you've done over the past 12 months, and to everyone in our community, especially our visitors, John and Tex in the gallery, and anyone watching online. To my fellow councillors, Merry Christmas, and to you, Brooke, thank you. It's your last council meeting with us today, and we wish you all the very best in your next chapter. Thank you, councillors. I'll declare the meeting closed.